somebody. My phone's charging over at AV. Can somebody grab it for me? Because like otherwise, please don't run with my phone. I don't have insurance on it. It costs an extra $10 a month and I'm cheap.
Yes.
Why are you all here? It's 11:30 at night at Anthrocon on a Saturday. Why are you all here?
I love that there is still innocence in the furry fandom. Because from somewhere over here, I heard somebody say, we don't sleep.
Hey,
that's not what we're insinuating.
That's my phone. Go get it.
Yes, sir. Sorry. Hey, Boozy. Did I tell you I learned to juggle?
Normally, I would say okay, but...
Lawyer, right?
Yeah?
Understand a good deal, right?
Yeah?
Insurance $10, right?
Yeah?
$5.
Do what thou wilt.
He's terrifying.
I know what room you're sleeping in, asshole. Oh, good, I've got a 30% charge now. That'll at least get me through this bullshit.
Yeah, you know why I'm afraid of you? Because once we had to room together at a convention and you brought me breakfast in bed. It was so nice of him. I am laying in bed, half asleep. He plops down a ham, egg, and cheese croissant on my face, but I'm fine with that because, you know, ham, egg, cheese croissant. So, when I looked over to see my friend having their breakfast, what did I find?
I was under the covers eating a chili dog as God intended. Breakfast of champions.
Breakfast of jet engines, you asshole! I was rooming with you!
Yeah, I know, because when I got there at 2 a.m., and I thought to myself, my friend is definitely asleep. He has told me he is asleep, and I walked in and I very quietly put my things down, and I very quietly started stripping to get into my pajamas. And as my pants were around my ankles, dick flopping in the wind, Alkali snapped on the bedside light and went, why, hello.
Love you.
I don't care if this isn't an all-ages panel anymore. It's 11:30 at night. If you are under 18 and in this room, your parents suck.
Boozy, these are furries. 80% of our parents suck. Why do you think we found furry?
You know, that makes sense. Actually, I think that's a little low because 100% of their children do.
Ladies and gentlemen, both and neither, welcome to Convention War Stories! I'm going to let our panelists introduce themselves so they can tell you why they're sitting up here. In other words, the directions they chose in life that ended poorly. Sparf, if you please.
Hi, I'm Sparf. I am your Assistant Events Director for this con and the Vice Chair of Furthermore down in Northern Virginia, D.C. Nice, hey, cool, thank you. It was a bad life choice. It was very bad. Also at this con, I've granted myself a new title. I am the Hairman. That is what happens when Kage goes to bed. I become the one in charge, except that I have no authority. I just get to drink.
And you have hair.
And the best job.
I drink and I know things.
Oh, God damn it.
You literally just described being a lawyer.
I would like to introduce you to a friend I only get to see like once or twice a year, and I am so honored that I get to see you a third time and again in 2 weeks. Guys, give it up for Danny, the chairman of Brazil Fur Fest.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's true. This year I will see you 3 times.
Yeah.
More than I see my wife on bed. Just kidding, honey.
Just
She's here.
Oh, she's here?
and she's
Well,
angry.
no, I am really
She's-
glad. I am
and
just so glad you followed up with she's here because I swear to God, I was about to lean in and go, well, I see her more often than that. And now I know that if I make that joke with a straight face, I'm going to die. So,
Well,
Go ahead.
what should I say? I don't speak English very well, as you can see.
You're all good,
it's
man.
okay, neither does alcohol.
Yeah, no shit, right? So you're chairman of Brazil Fur Fest. How long have you been doing that?
Since 2016, and it was one of the best decisions I ever take in my life, really.
You are a very rare chairman, and that makes me so happy. That's awesome.
And I'm really happy you are coming to Brazil in 2 weeks.
I'm so excited.
This will be a big experience.
I don't like how you're saying that.
That was either the best threat or the best promise
We
ever.
have so many things ready for you.
That's a threat! That's a threat!
That's a line from Hellraiser. We have such sights to
May I
show
tell-
you.
May I tell about the condom? No, better not. The Brazilian condom story?
I can't wait to go to Brazil. I only know one thing about Brazil Fur Fest, and that is part of the charity involves if they make enough money, I think I have to get a bikini waxed. And I'm so terrified and excited at the same time.
Let me ask, just out of curiosity, how much is enough money?
Like $20,000.
Oh, I'm at $20,000?
Okay, let me give a follow-up. Will it be videotaped? Because I've got some equity in my house.
I think you in name of our charity.
Just keep your eye on Brazil Fur Fest, guys. Their charity will be up and running on their website, I'm sure, once the time comes.
Do not worry about watch my Twitter, because the moment it goes live, I'm going to spam the link everywhere.
But you're here to hear war stories, and who better to tell those to you than a lawyer? Guys, give it up for the Boozy Badger! Boozy, what have you been doing in the fandom?
Just one bad decision after another. Just so many. I'm legal here.
That was a weird way to say that.
Oh, yeah. I'm the chairman of BasementCon, which started as a joke on Twitter to make fun of other conventions, and now we have a venue and insurance, and I'm not sure how the hell that happened. By the way, I just want to point you out, how many people here are familiar with the BasementCon Twitter account? How many people believe that I am posting this shit on the BasementCon Twitter account? Okay, let me just be really clear. I gave that password out to like 15 people.
And we all love you for it.
And like when you look at it and there's a post from BasementCon and then it's me like, which one of you fuckers posted this? I know you're all thinking I'm doing a bit, but I'm not. I genuinely don't know who posted that, and I'm a little angry. In addition to that, on non-convention sides, I am the president of a non-profit theater group. I serve on several non-profit boards of directors. I also provide not legal services, but consulting services to a couple other conventions as well that I will not name.
Fair enough. My name's Alkali. I'm the former chairman of First Squared. I have been staffing on board of directors of conventions for years. I do a lot of MC work and work with a lot of comedians, and I genuinely get to have a lot of fun with this, and that's one of the most important things. So before we even get started, I just want to tell you, if any of you are interested in ever helping out and getting onto that staff or even a board position, it all starts with volunteering. So if ever you're looking for something to do at a con, don't forget, we are always looking for volunteers, and we really appreciate the help. It's a great way to get started with staff in other directions. And also to come up with so many convention war stories, it's not even funny. Because when volunteers are involved and they do the silly, wonderful things that volunteers do, like rewiring the first squared video game room to be in conjunction with the Artemis room, so people were just screaming across my hotel. Screaming at the top of their lungs as they are playing a spaceship simulator with 6 people trying to fly it from 2 different rooms on walkie-talkies that aren't working. A volunteer created, sponsored, and coordinated that masterpiece of a shit show that I could not have been more proud of. And the hotel liaison, as they looked at me and said, "What are you going to do about this?" couldn't help but smile as I said, "Probably play around." Guys, you've been in the convention circuit for a very long time. One of those wonderful moments, shit show turned fun. Do you guys have any shit show turned fun stories for us?
They get to turn fun.
Sometimes, it's rare. Sparf, you look like you have one.
Yeah, so at Furthermore several years ago, we were in this new hotel. We had just moved. And I am the sort of staffer, like, I was the director of programming at the time. And I'm roaming around the hotel looking for things that I can fix. This is about like 2 in the morning. And down the hall, I have found things on the walls. I'll tell you about one of those later. I found I'm fixing little things. You know, the attendees are doing great. It's been a stressful weekend, but I don't want to go to bed because if I go to bed, something will go wrong. So in the distance, I'm shortcutting through the attendee room hallway and back to it, and I hear this distant singing, this otherworldly, beautiful melody, and like the music of a stringed instrument, and I'm like, there is no programming. It is 2:30 in the morning. There is no programming at my convention. What's going on? And I'm like walking around trying to find this. I walk into ConOps. There is a harpist and 3 other individuals, including my ops director, harmonizing Far Over the Misty Mountains from The Hobbit with the full text from the book, not the short one in the movie. And I sat down and nearly wept. It was one of the most sublime moments I have ever had, and when I feel really terrible, I think back to this beautiful music. That was actually, may have been the first year you were there.
And I know who the harpist was.
Yes.
I know who the harpist was because the first year I went to Furthermore, they gave me a handler. And a handler is when you don't know how somebody's going to behave at a convention, and you need them places, you give them someone to get them to those places, okay? And really to kind of make sure they don't see the weird shit. And yet that year I had just fallen into the fandom. They didn't know what to expect, so they gave me this wonderful young lady named Harper. And Harper was to be my handler, and when they introduced me to Harper, I looked them dead in the eyes and said, "I'm going to make your life a living hell, for I am here to see the weird shit." And Harper just materialized out of thin air every time I got close to seeing the weird shit. But that was the year that I threw a room party that security got shut down.
I forgot about that.
Because the reason Harper was in ConOps was several people and I had been in my room with Harper and some other folks enjoying libations and conversation, and Harper said, "Oh, I actually play the harp," and pulled a harp out and began to slowly play Celtic ballads on the harp. As we're all sitting there, it's this beautiful high-class affair, right? And then, hotel security opened the door. Yes? There's no parties allowed on this floor. And I'm looking back and I'm like, we're sipping scotch and we have a harpist on that. I'm like, I'm sorry, good sir. My friends, the constabulary has advised me. So I left.
You're a lawyer. You should have convinced him it was a shindig. This isn't a party. This is a hootenanny.
So we got everybody out. They went down to con ops. I went to bed. Now, about a year and a half later, I told this story to my good friend next to me, and he looked at me and he said, well, are you telling me you came into the furry fandom, went to your first FurCon, and immediately started a room party with a traditional Celtic harper playing ballads in the back of the room? I'm like, yeah. He goes, your parties are classy as fuck.
I love that their room party got shut down because we all make mistakes. The Doorside regulars are a security team that works a lot of convention. They keep a little logbook, and they love to point out one of their favorite entries. A ununiformed police officer showed up at Indie FurCon's operation, said, hey, you've got a panhandler in your lobby collecting money in a top hat. And security went, that's our director of finance. Cop didn't come back next year. We all make little mistakes, don't we, Danny?
Oh yeah. I have a story from Brazil Fur Fest 2017. And well, I'm the chairman and I'm responsible for a lot of things. And Brazil Fur Fest is it's a cozy convention. Cozy convention. Yeah, it's a small convention compared to all of these. We are nothing. Anyway, in 2017, I was the chairman and responsible for putting all the decoration around the hotel, around the lobby, around the foyer. And I made a big mistake.
What?
I used permanent double layer tape. All around the hotel.
Oh, honey.
That was the beginning of that weekend because we had the convention after I put the decoration, right? And during the fursuit parade, I was walking with my big fursuit. You saw my big fursuit.
Oh, I love that thing.
It's a big bunny with big hips and a big butt. Well, Brazil is about butts, right? Right? It's a stereotype. Stereotypes, people. And my fursuit.
Did you break the escalator?
We don't have escalator.
Shut up, I want to hear more about the butts.
The butt is part of the story because I was walking in the fursuit parade with my big butt fursuit. And how can I say, I stomped it. I fell with my fursuit. Yeah, I fell with my fursuit. And they dislocated my knee.
Oh my God.
When they tried to put me up, it's a lot of fun. I turned my knee out of place. It hurt as hell. But it hurted more when I put back, I did myself to put back. Yeah, it hurted a lot.
Let me ask you, I have to, because I've done that before. How far to the side was your kneecap?
Here.
Yep.
Oh!
Yep. Oh!
It hurts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, fursuiting is dangerous. Now I get why you guys like
It's
it.
not. It's just when you have a big butt.
Well, I got that covered, Dan.
Well, I had a good staff member who was doctor, and he was really fast to get me a wheelchair. And I got a nice nickname, Wheelchairman.
Wheelchair.
I spent all the weekend as wheelchairman, and all the decoration was there, beautiful. And I was in a wheelchair. And Patsy, my wife, that I see 3 times on bed every year.
No, it's right. It's less than that.
It's less than that.
It's
Yeah.
less than that. Well, it is after you tell everyone. Yeah, that's how that works.
She's my vice chairman. If people could please applaud. She works a lot. She works a lot. She's the main gear of Brazil Fur Fest. Anyway, at the end of convention, we all crying at the closing ceremonies. I was crying of emotion, of pain. And, well, said, see you next year. Started to play Fox and Peppers next year's song, whatever. And the hotel manager came to us and said, hey, there is a problem with your decoration.
Oh God.
We are taking the decoration and pieces of the wall is coming with the decoration. A lot of holes around the hotel. We were crying, so we started crying even more. And Betsy was desperate because, as you can imagine, we are from Brazil. Brazil is not...
Why wasn't the fucking contract?
We are from Brazil, we are not as wealthier as you guys. We have millions of dollars to host a convention.
Oh, rich fucking furries. We went over there.
Yeah, we don't. So we wouldn't have the money to fix the hotel. So we start crying for real. And Patsy Desperate came to me and said, Danny, you did a shit?
You did a shit, that's what we would call it.
Yeah, you did a shit. And now, who's going to pay for the wall? And I told her, Mexico.
I just gotta ask, because the last time we heard that, no.
It was 2017.
You know what? Wouldn't that have been the best fuck you, though? Like, if Mexico's like, you know what? No, we'll pay for the furry hotel. Fuck you, son.
Now, we've got something special for you guys. Danny had mentioned Fox and Pepper because not all convention war stories happen from a staff standpoint. Sometimes it's one of the guests. Ladies and gentlemen, both and neither, give it up for PepperCoyote!
I got one.
This is one guy who can tell a lot of things about Brazil Fur Fest.
The fact that you keep an on-site wheelchair for me would shock me if Eurofurence did not keep an on-chair wheelchair for me.
I must say we are good about wheelchairs in Brazil.
Well, I mean, your healthcare, you've heard about ours. Eurofurence did not keep the wheelchair because I was drunk at Eurofurence. They kept it because I broke my foot on stage while dancing the Running Man at Eurofurence. That wheelchair was originally intended for a grandmother Kage, who was not attending. Imagine if me and Kage was like, all right, ma'am, come on up, sit on my lap, we're cruising around together. I am now your chauffeur. Actually, you know what? You can steer. Here's a bridle and a whip. We're getting weird. So in 2010, you'll probably, or actually a couple people on the stage may be able to correct me as to the exact year. It's either 2010 or 2011. I was attending my first ever convention ever, Anthrocon. Have you heard of it? Woo! I'm drinking some regional beverage. It's called Iron City. So, I was attending my first ever Anthrocon, and I started receiving some strange questions. People said, are you Mr. P? In 2010 and or 11 or 9, I don't think it was 09, that's too early, I was coming out of high school, it was at least a year after that. Somebody decided it would be a fun time to, ha ha ha, I'm falling off of the balcony into the river, I've swung mine leg, and mine other leg, and I am dangling, oh ha ha, it's so funny. So DLCC staff saw that, and the cops saw that, and our dear chairman had to deal with that immediately. Do we know what year I'm talking about yet? Am I making this up? Did this even happen? Someone here remembers this happened. Okay, if you remember the year, yell it. Was it 010 or? 12? There's no way it was 12.
We've got people saying 12:05 in 2010, so I have a feeling this has happened multiple fucking times.
So we all get so yes, again, this is a regional beverage. It is a delicacy. It is called Iron City. Do you know that Pittsburgh used to manufacture things other than hipsters and web designers? I'm not bitter. So anyway, it is 2011, and someone has swung their leg over a boozy bearish banister.
Thank you.
Right. And
That'll happen later tonight too.
realize the fallout of this in the end, like what it took. This was a convention of maybe 3,000 or 4,000 people, and with the fandom in general was still kind of like precarious. I don't know if that's exactly the right word, but you know, we still have like something to prove. It's like, we promise we're not psychopaths. We're just like, people want to have fun. We're nerds. We're gentle. We are far less aggressive than a country western band. And it was a humongous deal that someone was doing this. And they're like, guys, you can't. Is this just going to turn into a crazy frat party? No, but so the act that the DLCC took was, you are now blocked from all balconies, always, forever. And Kage was like, this is the deal I negotiated after 12 hours of blood, sweat, and fear.
My boy, let us talk.
We can do that because he's been in bed since like 4.
Yeah.
So, knowing what I know now, when people were asking me, I am now attending my first con. There's a little bit of like, almost like street like, do you guys know that guy? Do you know that guy? We all kind of know each other, so when something sus is going on, hello children, when something sus is going on, like, you know them, they have a history of being sus or cringe. I'm walking around my first con ever, no one knows who the fuck I am, and they're asking me if I am Mr. P, and I am wearing a badge that says this. It says Pepper. That's what the badge says. And if I knew what I knew now, I would say, if I was Mr. P, I would not be speaking to you. I would be taking my place, ejected into the sun.
That's far too expensive for our car, my boy. You'd go into the Allegheny River. I told you I'm the hairman.
That's the situation.
Give it up for Pepper!
See you in 2 weeks in Brazil, Pepper.
They brought me this.
So one of the things that is really good about the people who run furry fandoms is we all help each other. There's actually a group that's still in effect to this day, the Furry Leadership Roundtable, a group that actually gets together and just exchanges ideas from convention to convention, just so that we all know what works, what doesn't. It really makes the experience better. And sometimes it goes way beyond even that.
With the exception of BasementCon. They apparently have discussed admitting BasementCon and decided as a group against it.
They saw our Twitter account, Brucey.
I will not name the large convention that we made fun of once, and then we got a message from their social media department that said, hey, could you stop? And our response was, well, we'll stop naming you, but we're not going to stop making fun of you. And just because you asked, we're going to give you a code word so you know we are definitely making fun of you. So if any tweet from BasementCon ever ends with hoot hoot, or the picture of the owl door from Owl House, we're making fun of that one con.
I love our Twitter account so much. Sometimes we need a lot more help. Boozy, have you ever helped me out with problematic attendees?
Stop me if you've heard this one. Several years ago, this wonderful gentleman, when he was the chairman of First Squared, brought me out, had me perform. It was a wonderful time. I enjoyed everything. Then I got home. And my plane had been on the ground for 1 hour when he sent me a message. And it read, hey buddy, would you mind flying out here in a couple weeks and helping me with something? And I said, well, that depends. What is it? And he sent back, I need you to say yes first. I do not make good decisions. Because I trusted him. And I said yes. And he said, great, check your email. And in my email was 2 logs. One was the door size security log for First Squared that year. The other was the hotel security log for First Squared that year. And those were 2 completely different events, according to the logs. Because the door side log was fursuiter drunk in lobby, assisted them back to room, verified do not need medical, all okay. Found person smoking in parking lot, was not cigarette, advised them to put it out. Ambulance called, transport to hospital, checked in, they are okay, just overheated. The hotel security log said things like, we received a report of hotel room door open with man on bed with line of 10 other men wearing strap-ons running a train on him. Police called, gentleman threw bag of weed in guard's face, screaming, "Shasha," and ran. Rooms under renovation found open, many items inside. I did not ask for clarification. And my personal favorite. On Sunday morning, it was reported to the front desk that on Saturday night, a crowd of people were gathered around 2 men in the lobby engaging in oral sex while the crowd chanted, "Eat the meat, eat the meat, eat the meat." I closed those documents and I got back to him and said, "What the fuck?" And he said, "Nothing." He said nothing. Because what he sent me was my plane ticket confirmation code. What was going on was the hotel had contacted Alkali almost immediately after the convention. Basically saying, here's our log, we're going to terminate your contract. And we want to have a meeting about this. And Alkali, knowing that I, at that point, negotiated a lot of contracts, had brought me in not as an attorney, but as kind of a consultant to help them through that situation, tell them how to handle it. So I flew in, and he picked me up at the airport, and we went back to his house. And I started going over some of the things with him. I said, well, first of all, these are 2 wildly different logs. They refer to the door side as just attendees in berets. I feel like we should have a member of the door side there to discuss what the door side actually is, and that they're a professional security force. When we're going through the other things, it all says things like it was reported to us. We were told that there's not a single account of a hotel employee seeing this, so we need to lean pretty heavy on that. And finally I said, and the third thing is, we just need to bring up how ridiculous some of these things are. And he goes, no, that's a good plan. I said, okay. So the next morning, all the people who are going, myself, Alkali, John the Human, representative from the door side, and the current co-con chair of First Square, Dragor, meet at Alkali's. We get in the car. we stopped to get coffee, and we are driving to Wisconsin. And I used the ride as a way to go over the strategy with him. Man, when we get there, let me talk. Because we're going to bring up that's all hearsay, there's no first-hand accounts. We're going to bring up, that the door size professional force, and we're going to bring up how ridiculous these things are. I mean, look at these accounts. They all sound like something out of a cartoon, like this one. The guy in the hotel room who's getting a train ran on him by 10 obviously assigned male at birth people, all of whom are wearing a strap-on. Why would they need strap-ons if they were assigned male at birth? And from the back, Dragor goes, well, you know wearables are a thing, Boozy. And I turned and said, maybe you don't fucking talk at the meeting. So after we got back on the road from Alkali driving us through a goddamn cornfield.
It was really funny, dude. It was really good.
After we get back on the road, we get to the hotel. And we walk in. We go down to the meeting, and everybody does their introductions, and there are 3 representatives of the hotel there. There is the general manager, there is the events manager, and there is the food and beverage manager. And they sit down at the conference table. They're on one side, we're on the other side, and they bring out a binder. A binder. I would like to make a brief segue. Attendees fuck up at conventions. All right? If security has to be called to tell you to calm things down, you fucked up. If they take you to con ops to talk to you about it, you fucked up. If they take you to con ops and call the chairman, you fucked up. If legal becomes aware of it, you fucked up. They open this binder, they start to go through it, and the very first thing they're doing is they're going, oh, we have all these reports of room damage, and look at these pictures, look at those pictures, and here's the rooms that were under renovation, and somebody obviously broke in the doors, and I let them go for a little bit. And then I say, well, let me ask you, first, the rooms that were under renovation, you say they were all locked, and they go, yeah. I go, no, they weren't. They go, well, sir, I said, I know they weren't because you put me in the wing that was under renovation, and the very first thing I did was I walked across the hall to one of the rooms under renovation, and I pushed on it, and the door just swung open. And they, that may have just been, that's a contractor trick. You block the lock so you don't have to keep unlocking and relocking the door when you're taking stuff in and out. Your contractors forgot to remove their door blocks. So, we weren't the only people in the hotel, so you can't pin that on us. You had a high school group in the hotel that same weekend. Probably more likely the high schoolers found unlocked rooms and partying in them than us. 2, this list of rooms that you have all the damage on, do you have the room numbers? We can get that for you. Have you cross-referenced it with our attendees list to see who was in those rooms? We can get that for you. So you don't have any of that? No, okay. So we're not considering any of that. You don't have anything to back up that was us. We're not considering any of it. Now let's talk about eat the meat.
Now let's talk about eat the meat.
Their reaction at that point, and I shit you not, was the general manager closed the binder, who slid it over to the event manager, who picked it up and did this, and handed it to the food and beverage manager, who put it under his chair. I went into it and said, these reports are ridiculous. Nobody threw weed in a cop's face and ran. There'd be a police report. We talked to the police. They don't have a list of this call. The guy in the room with the 10 people running a train on him with strap-ons, that's just not believable. Why would 10 men need to wear strap-ons to run a train? And then I glared at fucking Dragor, who, to his credit, stayed fucking quiet. I said, and eat the meat. I've been in your hotel. I know the layout of your lobby. Here is the front desk, here is the seating area, here is the bar. That's it, it's a giant open space. But it says here that had to be reported to you on Sunday morning. Are you telling me that in your lobby, you had 2 people blowing each other with the crowd chanting, eat the meat, and nobody on your staff thought they should report it? And they're at this point just quiet, except the food and beverage manager, who does not like me at this moment in time, and says, well, my bartender said they saw it. I said, your bartender saw 2 guys blowing each other and somebody had to tell you about it in the morning? That sounds like a staff problem to me. After we cowed them down, we got down to brass tacks. It was very, very obvious that what they really wanted to do, they didn't want to terminate the contract. There were some parts of the contract that had become too expensive for them to provide, but they were bound to provide it for the next 2 years. So what they were trying to do was find a way to get out of the current contract and renegotiate a new contract that removed some of the
Breakfast.
yes, they were trying to get rid of free breakfast. And they got rid of free breakfast. I hate to announce that they did get that.
Yeah.
But we renegotiated the contract. How'd that turn out?
I don't pay for event space to this day. All food and beverage, man.
We gave them what they wanted. They wanted to renegotiate the contract. But we made them look like assholes before we started that part of the conversation, so they gave up so much. Because at that point it was clear that it was no longer, we're afraid you won't let us hold the event in your hotel anymore, but you're making this so difficult, we're not really sure we want to hold the event in your hotel anymore. And it also became clear that the real issue with all that stuff wasn't the hotel so much as they had booked a Christian high school lacrosse team that same weekend. And the lacrosse team and their parents were not happy the furries were there. So they were just making shit up.
Yeah.
Badly.
Yeah, very badly. It happens. It's shitty. It's shitty, man, sometimes, but on the other hand, there's some weird magical moments that happen at hotels. I was at well, I shouldn't say the convention. I was at a convention. I was using the restroom. I walk in, there are 2 youths at the sink, and one of them looks at me and yells, "You know where I can buy any weed?" His friend immediately, "Dude, that's the finance director." And to his friend's credit said, "That means he should know where I can get it cheap." It's very logical. But I tell that story just to have this segue. Sparf, what happened to you in a bathroom?
You're going to need to be more specific.
Fun fact, the classier the place is, the more the bathroom doors go from floor to ceiling. Anyway, sometimes attendees misbehave, right? Cons don't want to ban people who are just having a good time, right? Now, and we also don't talk about who or why. Right? We just don't do that. You're never going to hear who or why. There's all kinds of, we got lawyers for that reason. But when it happens, sometimes the actual discussions are the fun part. There was an incident at Furthermore several years ago. I won't disclose the incident. It was a fairly serious incident, required board intervention. I'm on the board as well as con staff. We had to find a place to have a board meeting, and it was a sensitive topic. We couldn't find a place to have a board meeting because ConOps was occupied. The rest of the rooms on that floor were the dealer's room, the artist's alley, the panel rooms, the art show. we are in desperate need of a place to have a fucking board meeting because we need to discuss the events around this attendee. And we're like, what's that door? It was an all-gender bathroom, single hole bathroom. So 7 of us climb into this bathroom and we call the meeting to order. The secretary's in the corner with a little notebook trying to take the minutes with a golf pencil. So we're having our discussion. We're like, well, has the policeman called or things, blah, blah, blah. Oh no, we don't have that information handy. Can you get it on your phone? Our phones don't get signal because all of the cell towers in the immediate area are on the roof of this hotel. So there is no signal to the cell phones. We have to be on the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is dead to us because, hotel Wi-Fi. So they're like, all right, I know my computer works on it. All right, go get your computer. So one of us goes to get a computer. They bring in a Republic of gaming laptop. This giant. We're all in this little bathroom, huddled around the screen, and it doesn't work. It doesn't talk to the internet. All right, next person, go. Oh, I've got an iPad. I know it's connected. I was just using it before we called the meeting. All right, go get your iPad. Go get the iPad. Nobody takes the other laptop out. So now there's 2 screens. We're all cuddled around it, and we're like, oh no. That's on my corporate Google Drive, which isn't signed in on the iPad. So finally, after 2 or 3 more attempts, it's getting hot in there, fursuit, headless zone with no fans hot. And we finally get a device that has this. We're like, all right, we've got the template, we'll write the band letter. Oh wait, we have to have the vote. All right, we gotta follow Robert's Rules of Order now. So is there a motion? I so motion. All right, excellent. Do I have a second? I second. Who was that? The secretary's trying to write with a golf pencil. The golf pencil breaks. They're like, I know who it is. All right, all in favor, aye. All right, we'll type the letter, send it. We're trying to get out, and we're so squeezed in there that we can't really turn the latch anymore because of the extra computers. So it took us 2 minutes to open the door. We fall out like it's a fucking clown car, and our head of security is standing there going, "Yeah, I got something I need to talk to the board about." And we said, "You can wait." Fun times.
Oh my God, Sparv. No, as part as I love that there's another bathroom story that I was reminded of while Sparv was speaking. And that bothers the shit out of me. Because we like to have fun too. And I just remembered this because I went back to my room one night and Zan was throwing a room party that Zan apparently was not at. As I walked through our single room, Zan was nowhere to be found until I went to the bathroom, where Zan was holding the trans room party. 7 people of the trans persuasion had been decided they had taken over the bathroom and were chanting, "Trans party, trans party, trans party," over and over until I opened the door to where they booed me. In unison. Which was beautiful. My friend came into the room, also of the trans persuasion. They said hi and dragged her into the bathroom and chanted, "Trans party, trans party, trans party." And let me tell you, there are very few weirder ways to find out that your next door neighbor is the head of security. Danny, your cons have to be very different from American cons. What's something that's just different about Brazil?
I would say we Brazilians are very different from you Americans. You are all formal, and Brazilians are informal. As you can see, all of them are wearing beautiful t-shirts, beautiful shirts, beautiful things. And I'm wearing a soccer jersey.
Okay, Dan, just real quick. I don't walk around in a suit all the time. I had a bit earlier.
But you look beautiful. You look like a soccer
you.
player. And
Danny thinks I'm beautiful. Yeah, there we go, right there, yeah.
we are all stylish. Guys, the biggest difference from Brazil to United States maybe is formality or informality. I will tell a story inside another story, may I?
Absolutely.
And we have in Brazil a panel with common chairs that is very similar to this one, and it's named Convention War Stories, something like that.
Yes.
It's very similar. And I was telling a story of, that's very inappropriate. Are you okay with inappropriate stories? Yes! I love this audience. I always want to say that. Well, we had this panel, and I was telling a story of a deaf attendee to Brazil Fur Fest. In 2018, he was there at the charity auction, bidding for everything. And we were like, is he understanding what is happening? Because he was bidding for everything and he was not listening to the bids. He was bidding over himself. That was very weird.
That's confusing.
And confusing, yeah. We were like asking our staff members to come to him with a Telegram chat to talk to him and ask if he was understanding things, and he said yes, it's an auction. I want to bid to charity. Okay, he's a nice guy, a very nice guy. Until we had Foxes and Peppers CD collection to be auctioned, and the guy was deaf. And he was bidding over himself to get Foxes and Peppers CD collection.
Oh my God.
1 minute. The art of the covers are amazing, right?
Yeah.
He would be trying to get the art, right, guys? Yeah. Well, he got it. He got the full collection of Foxes and Peppers CDs. And we were like, yeah, well, the art is beautiful, maybe it's not about the music, it's about the art. Well, 2 years later, we had a headphone with ears. And the deaf guy started bidding. Ruby, my other vice chairman who's not here, came to me desperate. Danny, why the deaf guy is bidding on the earphones with ears? I said, well, to listen to Fox and Pepper CD collection. Of course. It's a good story, right? It's a good story. I was telling that story in our Convention War Stories panel last year. Uncle Kage was there.
Oh, cool.
Uncle Kage was our guest drinker of honor, whatever. He drank a lot of caipirinhas, you have no idea. He and PepperCoyote, we had to take him in a wheelchair from stage. I'll tell later. And Uncle Kage was there, I was telling this very story to him, and for the audience like you guys, and at certain point, who enters the room? The deaf guy. The deaf guy entered the room, and Uncle Kage came to me like, Daddy, will you continue to tell the story of the deaf guy? And the audience, come on, Kage, he's deaf, he's not going to understand.
Holy shit.
The audience, that is Brazil.
A while ago, my friend, like he told you, started the anti-convention BasementCon. And I had the pleasure and honor of calling him a year later and saying, you're an idiot if you're going to do this, you need insurance, I put one in your name, I own your convention, I've made a mistake, I'll help you, stop being dumb.
All right, so here's the fun part about that. What he said was, for legal reasons, Dragon Incorporated owns BasementCon. And I said, number one, I'm perfectly okay with that. We're just going to make it big letters, BasementCon, tiny letters, presented by Dragon Inc. Number two, why for legal reasons? And he goes, well, you needed insurance. And I went, oh, okay. And then I said, who signed for the insurance? And he said, well, me, that's why it's a subsidiary of Dragon Inc. I said, so you signed for the insurance? He goes, yeah. I go, my name's nowhere on the insurance. He goes, no. I go, what about the venue contract? Who signed that? He goes, well, I had to because I had to show them the insurance. I said, so your name's on the venue contract? Yeah, my name's nowhere on the venue contract. He said, yes. I said, you understand what you just told me, correct? And darling Danny's wife, that's how you keep your fucking name off the contract. Just act inept enough that one of your friends who is much more prepared than you makes themselves legally liable for the damages.
So we're having a bouncy castle, right?
It's a literal checkbox on insurance policies to have a bouncy castle. You don't understand how scary a checkbox can be until you see all the zeros that come after a 2.
I am convinced though that in order to get insurance for BasementCon, he had to lie about where it is. And let me set the scene. You are closer to BasementCon than you think. Right now, BasementCon is held in the mountains of western Pennsylvania. However, there is no way to get to BasementCon from Pittsburgh without driving through New York. How does this happen? Well, the venue website tells you how it happens, which is don't follow any of the maps. The roads that lead to the lodge are all one-lane overgrown logging roads. Your car will not get by them and take this route. There is one route to get to BasementCon. You have to drive all the way to the northwest edge of Pennsylvania, go into New York, circle around and find the one dirt road that isn't 100-year-old logging road, and then drive back into Pennsylvania up that road. A few miles down that road, you are going to find the lodge. The lodge was built at some point in the 60s. It was built by the current owner's grandfather as, and I quote from his tour he gave us the first time we went there, a snowmobile excursion lodge. And then he was quiet and said, that didn't work out too well, which definitely tells me there are corpses in the woods tied to snowmobiles, by the way. They turned it into a cross-country skiing lodge after that. Now, the entire first floor of this lodge is a full-service restaurant. It has a bar, it has a giant, very dated seating area, it has eating areas, it has a piano that for some reason they just locked down with a chain. There's a box of flesh on the wall. Just random box of flesh. And it is decorated like Cracker Barrel, but if Cracker Barrel married the Saw film franchise, like there's axes on the wall and you're like, oh, they're decorative, and then you take them out like, oh no, these have an edge. Somebody has sharpened these. Like saw blades hanging from the ceiling. Saw blades hanging from the ceiling.
It wasn't okay. Do you have any idea how much a head wound bleeds?
Hello, Busio, I'm playing a game.
On the upstairs are the rooms, and the rooms are okay. Each one has its own bathroom. I want to say that's something. Now, the bathrooms were obviously an afterthought and added into a closet in each room. I know this because it's the only time in my life I've had to have one foot in the shower and one foot at the door to poop. Alright? This is BasementCon's venue. We arrive in the middle of nowhere. The first year, the owner gives us a tour of the lodge. And he's showing us everything. He's pointing stuff out. We go into the kitchen. It's got a full, like, commercial kitchen in there with a meat locker. And he looks at us and he goes, "Don't eat the meat in the meat locker." Like, what is that? Just don't eat it. That's my meat. Oh, okay. We work. And as the guy's telling us about the place, he's giving us his safety orientation. His safety orientation goes like this: make sure you lock the doors at night. You're pretty far out in the middle of nowhere. We don't get the internet out here. You don't get satellite out here. We don't have phone lines out here. What? What do we do if something happens? Pray. And if you go outside in the direct back, there is some play equipment. If there are going to be children here, they are welcome to use it. Please do not let them go too close to the old well directly beside the jungle gym. It does not have a cover on it.
What well?
If you walk to the right for a little bit, you're gonna come to a pond. You feel free to look at it. Do not go swimming in it. You will drown. Not you may drown, by the way. You will drown. It was a certainty. If you go the other way out the back door, walk a little bit, you're gonna come to a cow pasture. Now, this time of year, all we got out there is dairy cows, so don't worry, they're not gonna charge or anything. Oh, don't touch the fence. It's an electric fence. And then he gets a faraway look in his eyes. Acts a hell of a bunch. So this weird motherfucker wanders off. And I look at Alkali and I go, "Do you think he touched the fence?" I go, "He definitely touched the fucking fence." He leaves, our guests arrive. Now we have one rule at BasementCon: we don't give a shit where you sleep, but you better get there fast if you want to have a place to sleep. So there we are, and everybody's claiming rooms and doubling up, and I'm sitting out by the fire pit, because there's 2 fire pits on the property. There's a giant bonfire pit on the back acreage of the property, and there's like a small fire pit near the lodge, like, you know, maybe 6-7 feet away from the side of the lodge with a nice seating area for small fires. But I forgot that I had fucking furries there, so they just moved all the wood from the bonfire pit and put it in the small fire pit, and we had a flame going up towards the roof line as I screamed eternally. But I
Not
said,
as much as me, my name's on the insurance, boozy.
so I'm sitting outside, I'm at the fire pit, I'm relaxing for a moment, and everybody comes out of the lodge at once. And they're all looking over their shoulder at me as they bend down towards the ground and stand back up with a jar in their hand. And I go, "What's going on?" "Nothing." I go, "Bullshit. What was in the jar?" "Your spouse told us not to tell you." Now, I know my spouse very well. And I know that there is only one thing in this world that they would tell people not to tell me they found in a place I was responsible for. So I looked them dead in the eyes and I said, "Where was the fucking snake found?" Because I hate snakes. I understand it is an irrational fear. Does not change the fact. Alright? And they go, in the backyard. "Bullshit. Why would you put a snake in a jar just to move from the backyard to the front yard? Doesn't make sense. Where was the snake?" So I was like, "Well, they're muttering back and forth," and then one of them very loudly says, "We were specifically told not to tell him it was in the shower."
There's snakes in the shower. Wonderful. We go back downstairs the next day. Bees. There are bees in the lodge. It was only 2 bees at first. But every time we captured a bee and put it outside, 3 more showed up inside. At one point during the weekend, we helped a man steal a couch. Guy pulled up to the lodge Saturday afternoon with the trailer, walked inside, looked at us, and said, "Hey, could you help me with that couch?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure." We picked it up and walked it over, put it in the trunk, and waved him off. And as he's driving down the road, I go, "You know, we probably should have called the owner. We may have just helped that man commit a burglary." And the best part is we had a time-lapse camera in the bedouncers of the lodge. So if you watch the video of that weekend, there's like a 10-second period where you just watch all of us helpfully commit a felony. Sunday morning, we're sitting downstairs. Now, we are in the middle of nowhere. Here's how in the middle of nowhere we are. Last time in planning, Alkali said, "You know, this year we should really know where the hospital is. Boozy, can you do that one?" "Yeah, I'll do that." "Yeah, the chairman, I need to fucking take some responsibility." "Yes, I will find out where the nearest hospital is in case there's an emergency." Right? It is the weekend of the last BasementCon. Alkali says, "Oh, you never told us where the nearest hospital is." I go, "Yeah, there's a reason for that." Because it doesn't fucking matter. By the time we get to it, they're gonna die. There's a vet like 20 miles that way. We can probably wake old Doc Jenkins up if we put them in their fursuit first. Sunday morning, we're sitting downstairs. Now, you know, BasementCon has something that no con since First Square has ever had. Free breakfast. Anyways, we're sitting there Sunday morning, we're eating breakfast. We are in, and I am not joking, we are in the middle of nowhere. There is one road to this place. It is not easy to get to. It's not even obvious when you're driving there. Like, you have to actively be looking for that road. And we're sitting there Sunday morning eating breakfast, and a giant Cadillac Escalade pulls into the lot with New York plates. A woman climbs out with bleached blonde hair, a very fancy dress and high heels, slings a Gucci bag over her arm, and comes striding into the silence of the lamb's bed and breakfast we have chosen. Stands there looking at a group of about 40 furries eating breakfast in their pajamas and says, "I'd like to talk to the chef." The chef? Yes. Well, Benny and Sue are scrambling the eggs, so... Fine. Could somebody show me what the rooms look like then? I think I'd like to rent the place. And I look at her and I go, "Ma'am, it's obviously in use at the moment. So no." But I never turns around and walks out. Now, I left a part of that story out, and that part of the story is Zanny was with us, and there was a deer head on the wall. And this was before Xander became Zanny. So we thought it was funny to put Zanny's fursuit head, the Xander fursuit, on the deer head, so that we could go, "Oh, look, Xandeer." So this lady walked in to see a group of furries eating breakfast on a Sunday morning in their pajamas downstairs in a lodge with murder instruments all over the wall, which of course we had taken off the wall. Because it's just not funny if you don't walk into the bathroom with a sharpened axe going la 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 la.
You're an asshole.
With a dragon head staring down, she looked at all of that, took it in, then asked, "Would one of you please take me alone upstairs to the rooms in this rural lodge?" And it has left me wondering, how? Like, she left and I looked up, I said, well, it's official. We had our first normie Karen. We're a real con.
Some people lack self-preservation
Well,
instincts.
I want to know how she, like, was she just like, did she wake up Saturday morning in New York and go, furries are having an event and leap in the goddamn Escalade to come fuck up our day?
Probably. Oh my God, Sparf. We heard from Danny earlier about the double-sided tape. I know you've had problems with signage as well.
Yes. Folks, one of the things about renting out a venue, if it's a convention center or if it's a hotel, they generally don't want you to tape things to the walls. Sometimes you can. If you use painter's tape, they're okay with it. Years ago, furthermore, I was walking down that same guest hallway where I heard the beautiful music. This is the dark side of the beautiful music story. Now, these days, furries, we've got Twitter, we've got Telegram, right? We've got ways of meeting people with similar interests. I will never kink shame anyone, ever. But the method of meeting people, I was walking the hallway to shortcut around to the other side, and I look over and there's a hotel room. And on the hotel room are several signs. Now, room signs used to be a bigger thing at cons, like hotels have kind of frowned on them now, right? But like, if the hotel says you can hang it with painter's tape, that's fine. So these were legitly hung signs, but they weren't room signs. Like, oh, these furries are in this room, that's cute, that's wonderful, this wasn't that. I'm going to read them to you. These are designed as if they were made on Microsoft Works with clip art from 1993. Video Man. Film strip effect. Cool clip art of a guy with a camera. Want to show off your fursuit in an amateur video? I will record you as you frolic and play, possibly with others in parentheses. Let your creativity flow and express yourself as we have fun. I will send you a copy of the final video. No charge. All I ask is that you let me publish the video, i.e. on the internet, men only. Then you have a form and it's name, email, cell phone, age, height, weight.
You know why it says men only? Because women are too damn smart to be like, oh, a creepy guy wants to videotape me?
The next line on the form after age, height, and weight, gender, in parentheses, when in human form, male or female, so a little behind the times there. Do you have a fursuit? In parentheses, if not, you can still join us and play with the others who are dressed in fur. Yes or no? Which sessions can you attend? And it's a series of dates and times.
Is this the same sign?
Yes, this is all.
This is a fucking resume at this point.
At the bottom it says, please place completed form. And he didn't make new signs. So it said in envelope, crossed out in red pen, and written in this scrawly, spiderwebby hand, like somebody dipped matchsticks in red ink, and wrote, under door. Below that one was another one that was a similar vein, but it was explicitly for those with the hypnosis kink. I am a skilled male hypnotist. Good, you're putting your skills out there. Everybody is aware of your confidence level. I personalize the session based on your fantasies and desires. Fill out mini profile below so I can contact you. For entertainment only, in parentheses, no therapy. I only work with men. And then there's a whole list of it. That's the relevant bit. But I'm sitting there going, We have Telegram for this. You can make a Telegram chat. You can join a Twitter, like a Twitter DM conversation on your AD. You can literally do anything but this. Because some fucking FurryCon staffer is gonna walk by your room and take a photo of it and keep it in his iPhone favorites to tell the story years later on stage.
You're absolutely right, Spark. We do have how many people in here are in the Not Safe for Work Telegram group? Yeah, why are you dipshits raising your hands? What is wrong with all of you? Like, are you in the hookup chat? Yes. Yes. We just told you not to do this. Anyways, it doesn't matter if you do it or not because I've got a secret for you. We know about your Not Safe for Work chats and we monitor them. Yes. Years ago at a con, I'm sitting in the suite with the board of directors and the chairman. It was a first-year con, and the chairman is just so desperate to impress everybody. A member of the board of directors said, "Oh, they're really going hard in the Not Safe for Work chat." And I go, "There's a Not Safe for Work chat?" And the con chair goes, "Nobody get boozy in the Not Safe for Work chat." So of course the entire board sent me the link. And I joined. And in the haste of everyone scrambling for their emotional moment of that evening, that's how we're gonna fucking phrase it at the moment, okay? It is very emotional. Sometimes you cry, don't kink shake. Nobody noticed the Boozy Bee has joined notice on Telegram as it quickly scrolled off the screen. So I spent the entire weekend just bringing it up, looking at it, scrolling through it, going and putting it back down until after closing ceremonies on Sunday. Now I had to catch a flight right after closing ceremonies, so I get in my car, I get to the airport the whole time. Right? And then as I'm getting ready to board my plane, I send my one and only message to that Not Safe for Work chat, and it is, "I hope you all enjoyed the con, be safe getting home, and remember, I've seen all your dicks," and then I left. And one cheeky little shit sent me a DM immediately afterwards that just read, "So did you like what you saw?" I tell that story to tell this story. This has become a habit now, especially as we're running cons, because we really do, like, we know the Not Safe for Work chats, and there's normally at least one con staff member in it just to make sure that nothing bad, like, we don't give a shit. It's just, we want to make sure nothing bad's happening to people, right? So this weekend I got sent the link to the Not Safe for Work chat, and that's why I asked if you were in it when you raised your hand. Hi. But I will give Anthrocon a lot more credit because there are like 1,000 people in this chat right now, and when I joined and Boozy Bee has joined popped up, immediately someone replied to that message, all in caps, saying, "Oh God, no, not again." Yeah, I wouldn't know you fat souls won't let me in, remember? We've already got an ambassador chosen. You know, we don't even want to join anymore. We just want to be able to send an ambassador. The Pope in a limo.
Do you have a flag?
Danny?
Oh, the FCLR AD chat. Yeah. Remembers a story. I was about to talk about the Brazilian FBI and Brazil Fur Fest attendee. Let's talk about more adult things.
Okay.
Did we just miss me talking about seeing everybody's dick? Because I feel like we glossed right over that. Like, by the way, if your hands were raised when I asked that, guess what? I've seen your dick now. I've seen it. I've been scrolling through it. I see your day. Go home tonight with that knowledge.
Did you like what you see?
Cupcake, is that you?
Dan, please
Should I
say,
go ahead with some arts?
please say this.
I can say names, right?
No names.
No names, no. Okay, it's 2 years. Okay.
My name is due in the contract.
Okay, honey, love you. See you in the bed tonight. Okay, twice this year. I love her. It's the love of my life. Okay, back to water stories. There is an attendee from a country. I cannot say the name of the country.
No.
Countries.
Better not. No.
No, do you know the
Let's call it Moloumbia.
Is that how it works now? I'm not the lie. I got a lot more stories.
This guy had a problem. May I talk freely? I don't think. He had a problem. I need you to help me. Sure. Like you did at Megaplex last year. He had a problem. Every time he sees a fruit sweeter, he got like, how I can say in English?
hard on?
Yeah, hard on. And during our dinners then, that is not as big as these airport-like hangar here, and he saw fruit sweeter, a lot of them. And it was actually one of the first posts on FCOR AD chat, is his picture with, how can I say when
His chubby, his stiffy, his John Thomas, his hard salami.
yeah, hard salami is good. It's good. And the Argentinian, I cannot say name, let's say Gorgentina. People from Gorgentina sent me a picture, hey chairman, we had a problem with this Moulombian attendee. There is a picture of him with a fruit sweeter, like this.
Oh no.
And the picture was portrait.
Oh God.
And who was Bonner? It's one of the first pictures on FCOR AD chat.
And the tight red pants.
Okay.
Yeah, and in tight pants. Red pants, tight red pants.
Alkali, I want to be clear, we're upping our attendance limit because I gotta get in this fucking chat.
Alright, fine, fair enough.
And, well, we are hosting Brazil Fur Fest for 7 years. This was year 1.
Oh my God.
And for 7 years, we never had to give a yellow card. How can I say a warning to any attendee, despite this Moulombian guy. He was our only warning. And after the warning, he missed his flight back to Global Tower, Moloumbia, and he spent some days at my house. And Patsy is my eyewitness.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, he was walking around my home. Not a big apartment, it's a small apartment, without the damn pants. Just in underwear.
No underwear.
Underwear?
No.
Oh, I gotta go to...
No underwear.
I gotta go to myself.
You want to bring your pants, please.
He was wearing.
And there is one more thing about the story. Before he went back to Colombia, this picture was spread all over the internet in Brazil, Brazilian Furry Filming, and he got kind of famous.
Oh no.
Because of his, he said he had a,
Did you just say good for him?
he had a long dick problem. He said this in English, indeed.
Yep, that works.
And he offered his pants for charity auction.
No.
see. I voted yes, but our board said no. They are so.
My name is still on the contract.
That's Boozy, please come to Brazil. It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Do you see the picture? Oh yeah, the picture, yes.
I have it here too.
Oh no.
Yes, it's Argentina for Twitter with him.
Oh, wow!
It's a long dick problem, right?
Son of a yes.
Oh, Jesus Christ, take it over now.
I'm not sure I call that a problem, to be honest.
That's a solution.
He was very popular.
South America is a lot of fun, guys.
Very clearly, yes.
And then may I just add one little thing? After this, he went back to Moloumbia, and he decided the problem was really a problem, and he decided to, how can I say, cover the problem, and he was using a bottle of Brazil Fur Fest over the. So every time he got a water, Brazil Fur Fest goes up.
Ladies and gentlemen, both and neither, we truly hope you have been entertained tonight. This has been Convention War Stories. Give it up for Smurf. Give it up for the amazing Danny.
Thank you.
Give it up for Boozy Badger. Thank you so much for being here.
Give it up for your host, Out the Line.
And in 2 weeks, we will do the same thing in Brazil with you as Master of Ceremonies again.
I am more excited than a person from Moloumbia around a fursuit.
Please go there. Go there.
Thank you so much for being here. We hope to see you again. Have a safe and wonderful night. Enjoy the convention, and we'll see you tomorrow.